we're going to shift from that whole service idea now to moving to space. And I'm really inspired by Steelcase. They're a group of architects who seem to really have nailed the idea of what you do in a library and the different things you can do in a library. And they talk about the rhythm of a school day and the season of a school year. And we know that in our school library, it's not the same every day, every week for all the school year. School libraries respond to what's going on, to what's happening in the curriculum, to the life of the school. When they're considering building space or redesigning existing space, to think about 4 quadrants of space. And they talk about your first space being private alone, that individual space that supports focused work, that's at an appropriate scale for an individual, their well-being, the security and accommodation of what they're working with. And they talk about them being private and enclosed spaces, visual privacy. They support that need for extreme concentration by blocking out distractions. A space that you can temporarily own yourself. They talk about spaces that are public and alone. So that idea of wanting to be in the company of others and stay socially connected while working alone. It's a bit like having a coffee in a cafe by yourself. You're doing your work, but you're actually quite enjoying the buzz of what's going around. And the need to support the need for coexistence, focused work, social interactions, and that idea that I might want to swap between both. I might want to be working by myself, then have a chat over here, and then go back to working by myself. And thinking about how our students and our teachers and our library users could be thinking that they need this. Spaces that are highly flexible and customisable. So again, going back to that, can a student or a teacher adapt and change the space to meet their needs? Are the furnishings movable, the chairs, the furniture? Can the teacher come in and hack the space to meet the needs of what they're going to do with their kids on that day? Thinking about your posture and sitting comfortably. Now, some of us will be getting a bit numb and a bit twitchy sitting for a while. What about in your library for students? Is there a range of furniture like there is in a lot of ILE settings? So we've got 5-minute seats, we've got 20-minute seats, we've got long-term seats. How does your library support long and short-term use, or have we got a one-chair-fits-all idea? I did some work with a school in Porirua, and one of the students was bold enough to say, I don't sit on a plastic chair at home, so I don't want to sit on one in the library. It was like, yeah, good call. Again, with your public alone spaces, do you have quick, easy access to technology, online services, printers? Thinking about in your library and the whole makerspace idea, but drilling it down to, if I'm a student and I'm making a project and I need to spiral bind it, I need to laminate it, I need to cut it up, I need to use scissors and glue. Does your library provide access to all that? So taking makerspace out from that big 3D printer idea and all the technology to just our basic stationery needs. And does your library facilitate that? Steelcase talk about the 3rd quadrant as being private together. So like library classrooms. So you might have a class, like we are private together. We're private in this room, but we're together part of the main library. Spaces that accommodate active learning, computers, distance learning. So we could be podcasting in from anywhere in the world here, private to the rest of the library. But we could easily switch between being in here like we did at the beginning, moving out to the library and then coming back in again. Spaces that support multiple meeting modes. Could your library do that? Do we have tools for visual display, collaborative technology, information and acoustic privacy? So some of these things and I agree, they do need money. But there's number 8 wire thinking we can apply to a lot of these with our libraries and if we bring the thinking of our kids in, because the kids have got some of the best ideas for hacking a space without any additional money or not a lot. The last space that Steelcase talk about is public together. So students and teachers meeting together for group work, staying connected, and spaces that need to be really, really flexible to meet the changing needs of them and their curriculum. With quick, easy access to librarians or experts working in the space, so that we, as the people with the expert knowledge, can facilitate and guide. They talk about spaces that can accommodate impromptu teaching and learning activities without barriers, and where there's dedicated spaces for technical services. So if we were looking out here, that would be the computers set up in the middle and everything's going on around them. But there's a ubiquitous Wi-Fi, so regardless of if I've got my own device, I can hook in anywhere. And they ask the question, what do students need to be doing in a library space? Thinking about what the curriculum is asking them, but actually not just stopping at the curriculum, asking them, students, where does their curiosity stop and what could they be doing in the library and how can they facilitate that?